Hey, what's up guys, Jaeky here. Today I have a pretty special unboxing and review video. So obviously right here on my desk, I'm mating the Wooting 60HE, custom modded one that I made a video on of me modding and everything. I'll leave that in the description if you want to check that out. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is Wooting has made a keyboard with magnetic Hall effect switches, with rapid trigger, custom actuation, and they've pretty much transformed the gaming keyboard market to where they've set this like really high standard for gaming keyboards, and a lot of companies now are following suit. So in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Meletrix BOOG75, which is a gaming keyboard that has magnetic switches that utilize the Hall effect just like Wooting, where you can customize the actuation point and rapid trigger as well. The difference is the BOOG75 is obviously a 75% layout, and it's aimed more towards keyboard enthusiasts as well, with a gasket mount design, a full aluminum body, and just an overall premium experience when you compare it to other mainstream gaming keyboards such as Razer or Logitech. So Meletrix did send this out for me to review. Shout out to them. I did get an early review sample. The estimated time of release for this keyboard is the end of January of 2024, and the pre-built version which I have is going to retail for around $230 USD. So obviously it's not cheap, but it is cheaper than a lot of other fully custom keyboard options that you might want to go for. Plus you get the additional benefit of those magnetic switches. So without further ado, let's get this thing open. Let me slide the Wooting out of the way. So inside of the box, you actually get this very nice hard carrying case with the Meletrix logo on it. This is a pretty nice addition here. There's a zipper all around the case, and when you open it up, you're greeted with two Velcro straps that hold the keyboard in place. You also get a tool here to disassemble the keyboard. Again, this is a pre-built version. You can actually, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a bare bones kit that you can buy and assemble yourself. And you can lube it yourself as well if you want and change out stabilizers and whatnot. But this is the pre-built version here that I have in white. So you can see here it comes in a nice little case and bag, and there is the keyboard itself. Very nice 75% layout, and it's very heavy as well. It's actually around the same weight as my fully modded Wooting in the Tofu Redux with the additional brass weight. My modded Wooting keyboard is already really heavy, and this keyboard as well is very heavy as well. It's cold to the touch. The case is entirely aluminum, and this is what the bottom looks like as well. There's the design, and you have 4 feet on the corners of the keyboard as well. On the top, you have USB-C connection right in the middle of the keyboard. Very premium feeling keyboard. In the case as well, you also get a coiled USB-C cable. This is what it looks like on the desk right here, and let me tell you guys, right out of the box, this keyboard sounds amazing. The switches are lubed, the stabilizers sound great. Obviously, I'm going to do a sound test later on in the video. I'll leave a timestamp for that in the description below. But earlier when I just did a quick sound test, I mean, this keyboard sounds incredible. It's pretty much on the level of a fully custom keyboard. Okay, so the keycaps here are double shot PBT, and they are cherry profiled. If you looked here at the switch, I just popped one of the keycaps off. These switches are Gateron KS37B, which is a magnetic Hall sensor switch made by Gateron. The force to actuate is around 30 grams, and the bottoming out force is around 50 grams, with the total travel being 4 millimeters. So like I said, the pre-built version does come with factory looped switches. It even says on the website here, every switch features a very tight housing and a very good coat of factory lube. No need to spend hours and hours lubing switches. They're good to go off the pack, which is definitely true, as you guys will hear in the sound test later. And just some final details, the typing angle on this keyboard is 5 degrees, and the plate material is aluminum, but you can probably switch that out if you would like. So let's get this thing plugged in, and we can go over the software and performance in game and whether or not it compares to a genuine Wooting 60HE. Alright guys, now that it's plugged in, we can see the software, or really lack of software. It's just a web interface, which is the exact same the way that Wooting does it, which is what I prefer. This is great because you don't have to download any software, and you can just change the settings on the fly through your browser. So you just go to the URL boog75.meletrix.com, and then as you can see here, we have a little connect button. I click that, click on my keyboard, and now it's connected. And so now you can change anything in here. You can change around the keys if you'd like, and you can also change around the RGB as well if you're someone who's into RGB. As you can see, I can turn RGB on and off. There's a lot of different effects that you can do, including static effects, but also reactive effects that go off of when you hit the keys. I prefer my RGB off, and so after you set a setting, you just want to press sync on it. Moving on to the rapid trigger settings, which is obviously the most important part of the keyboard. You can either do like very general settings here from 1 to 20, 20 being the most sensitive. It will change it both for you, both your actuation and the rapid trigger. But if you want to really dial in your own settings, you can press this little arrow here, and then you can set your own actuation and rapid trigger settings. So make stroke is pretty much how far you have to press the key down to actuate it. I prefer 1 millimeter. That's also what I use on my Wooting. And then break stroke is the rapid trigger distance. And I set this to the lowest it can go, which means as soon as I lift my finger off the key, it will deactivate it. And then after that, you just want to press confirm and sync it to the keyboard. And then also in here is macro, where you can create macros. And that's pretty much all you get right now in the interface. They might add more stuff, who really knows, but that's really all you need to do. You can just change your RGB and your rapid trigger. You can also do a lot of this without even having to open the web interface. So for example, you can turn RGB on and off with the function key and the backslash. That will turn your RGB on and off. So that's pretty cool. But I obviously do prefer using the web interface more because going through it with the keyboard is a little bit finicky. So now let's talk about the performance in-game and whether or not it's comparable to the Wooting. All right, guys, now that we're in-game, I want to really go over this keyboard and whether or not it performs on the same level as the Wooting. So you can see here I have the Wooting overlay that shows you when I let go of the key and when I actuate the key. And so long story short, TLDR, the performance of this keyboard is pretty much the same as the Wooting. I mean, you can really just see it in the overlay. So right here, I'm going to make my cam a little bit bigger. I mean, I can't really get like a macro shot, but trust me when I say, like, when I hold down the key, as soon as I even let go slightly of the key, you can see there on the overlay and on screen, my character immediately stops, just like my Wooting. The difference is there's like pretty much no difference between this keyboard and the Wooting that I can feel, like when I go back and forth. So this is the BOOG75, and if I put my Wooting now down here and I do the same thing, there's pretty much no distinguishable difference between the two boards. Like as soon as I let go of the key on the Wooting, I can feel the rapid trigger kicking in and my character just immediately comes to a stop. And you can see on the overlay as well, the key just immediately stops, right? Like if I feather the key on the Wooting, you can see I can do little micro movements on my character. And if I do the same thing on the BOOG75, I can achieve the same effect as the Wooting, where I feather the key and my character is barely moving, same as the Wooting. So when it comes to the performance of the BOOG75, it's pretty much on the same level as the Wooting in terms of the rapid trigger and the customizable actuation. The rapid trigger works just as intended, same as the Wooting, and the customizable actuation as well works exactly like the Wooting, where you can even set per key actuation distances and rapid trigger distances, just like the Wooting. So you really don't have to worry about that either. The one thing that is lacking is obviously the web interface is a little bit worse compared to Wooting, but obviously this keyboard is an early release right now and it's not completely out yet. So these things will get refined as time goes on. But who is this keyboard for, right? This keyboard is obviously very premium. It's aimed towards competitive gamers, but also people who want sort of as close to a custom keyboard feeling as possible and sound. It sounds a lot better than a stock Wooting and even sounds better than my modded Wooting. And another plus is that it comes in the 75% layout, whereas the Wooting is either 60% or 80%. Wooting is actually coming out with an 80% board soon. So if you don't like 80% and you don't like 60% and you like 75%, then obviously the BOOG75 is the way to go. The BOOG75 is more premium, like it's built a lot better than the Wooting. It sounds a lot better as well. Stabilizers are great and it's factory lubed a lot better than the Wooting switches are. If you buy the pre-built one, obviously it comes in this full aluminum case, double shot PVD keycaps. So it's obviously just a very, very premium experience out of the box. So yeah, this keyboard is great. I mean, I can highly recommend it. And as you guys will hear in a second, It sounds absolutely incredible. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That wraps up my review of the Meletrix BOOG75 keyboard. Very premium, solid keyboard with high performance as well, with those magnetic switches inside that perform pretty much the same as a Wooting keyboard. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.